Hello, 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 YouTube fans. This is Corone, your independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, coming with you here today with another episode of, or another case, the Catty week. Guys, hello, YouTube fans. This is Corone. Let me apologize for last night. I did stream. We had some internet challenges, and so therefore the live, we had to terminate the live. So I am actually recording this for you. That way, if there's anything else that happens, you know, it's recorded, we can edit, we can do what we need to get done. Anyway, on to what we're doing today. Guys, if you don't remember, this is Fond of Autumn. This is the item that we are casing from the catalog, the July to December mini catalog, Stampin' Up catalog. Let me go ahead and just tell you a little bit of some administrative details. That way you have all of that up front. Actually, let me just talk to you while I'm doing that. Just in case you don't remember, if you want to shop on my online store, this is the information where you can shop on my online store. This is how you can contact me. And if you are going to shop on my online store, this is the host code for the month of October. Once you enter this code, you will be entered into the drawing to receive a prize at the end of the month. You guys, no minimum order that is required. Any order you place gets you an entry into the drawing. All right, let's not delay much longer, because this project involves a couple of techniques that are time consuming. So we're going to get started today. So we are casing the Fond of Autumn bundle on page 52 of the annual catalog. The item number is 159838. It is a $52 bundle with the 10% discount, as you know, with Stampin' Up. If there is a coordinating bundle or a coordinating die or punch, you save 10% by purchasing the item as a bundle instead of individual parts and pieces. Now, in certain instances, if items carry over into the next catalog, even if the die and the stamp set does carry over, it will not be eligible for the 10% discount. So if it's something that you are interested in as a bundle, it would behoove you to look at it in the current catalog and make that decision. Okay, so the stamp set, it is a photopolymer stamp set. As you can see here, it is photopolymer. And there are 11 stamps in the set, and there are 7 dies in the die coordinating die set. I absolutely love this die set, you guys. It's something new to me. I've not seen it anywhere before. Let me take a minute to share that with you before we get started. All right, so the dies, as you can see, nothing fancy, right? Nothing to talk about. But let me share with you what the difference, or what is so amazing about this. So there are 3 dies that coordinate with this, this image right here. The first die, as you can see, it's going to cut this out as a one single element. And so you'll have one big image that you can use. The second die here is actually going to cut this into 4 different elements, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can see here, this is where this is going to make multiple elements that you can use throughout your projects. And then the last die, this one, as you can see, what this is going to do is this is going to create the image that you see here. And what this will do is this will have the different, I don't want to call them poking out, I don't know what to call them, but the see-through elements that you're going to see in this card. Love it. First time I've seen it done that way, but I'm totally stoked about it. So let's get started. And today we are going to create this card. We're going to try to create this card and this card. Okay. last night in our first run, this is where we ended up. The embossing paste, because that's what I think this is, didn't quite work out. So I went ahead and did it without, and then we lost power. I mean, we lost internet connection, and so that was the end of that. Anyway, so I'm going to be honest with you. This does require embossing paste, and a couple of things happened to me today. I've realized that I do not have any Stampin' Up! Embossing powder or embossing paste. And the embossing paste I do have, which is not Stampin' Up!, sorry, is a little dried out. So we're gonna have to hunt again and see what we can come up with. For a while, I was completely obsessed with Nouveau paste, Nouveau mousse, and I have quite a few of them. And I don't know that any one of them is going to work for our purposes. So that just means to make sure I go ahead and I add some add embossing paste to my order when I'm placing an order with Stampin' Up. So I am bringing out a product. I'm not going to tell you what the brand name of it is because that's not the purpose of what we're doing here today. All right, so what we're going to do, let me grab my parts and pieces and we'll get started on the very first card. Okay. And I'm going to work on a piece of scrap paper, if I can find it. I just emptied my trash this morning. And so, of course, I don't have any scrap paper here, but we're going to make it work with some scrap paper. And instead of, if you can look at the photo, you'll see that it's all done on one layer, but I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that, oh yeah, let's use this. I want to make sure that if something goes wrong, I have the option to start something else. So I went ahead and I cut a piece of cardstock that was 1/8 of an inch smaller than 5.5 by 4 1/4. So this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Yes, that's right. That's right. Anyway, so we're gonna need a spatula. And let me tell you what I see. I don't know if that's correct, but this is what I'm seeing as to how this is happening. What I think I see is the two elements of the dies put together to create that image. So this is what I think I see. And I don't know that I'm right and I don't know that I'm wrong, but this is what I'm seeing in that element. Because you see there's the outline shape, but then it could also just be, no, I don't see that. I don't see that at all. This is what I see. So anyway, we're gonna give this a try. And I have me a little little bucket or dish with some soapy water, so that as soon as I'm done with this, I'm gonna dump all of this in that soapy water, so that the embossing paste does not sit on my die and potentially destroy it. Okay. All righty. Now the paste that I'm using is a glitter paste. Lord, please let this work. And it is in silver. All right, let's get started here and see what we got. Now the key is to try to make sure that nothing moves, which I'm not sure how we're gonna do that, but okay. Right. Whew, here we go. You might have to press a little hard so that it gets in between the cracks and crevices of the die. Again, I don't know that this is gonna work, but hey, if it does, we've created a new technique. If it doesn't, we tried something new and it worked, or it didn't work. Last night when I was trying this, I had die cut the image from there, and when I tried to remove the image, after I had laid some embossing paste on there, it just did not work. I had to throw that out, which is why I didn't even have any sort of embossing paste on the image, that the card front that I showed you just a little bit ago. Okay, I'm really trying hard not to make sure that nothing shifts and nothing moves. And I think I'm doing such a good job so far. So let's hope this is gonna work. And I think it's gonna work, you guys. Okay. And of course, you know, with embossing paste, any of the excess, you kind of just scrape back into the jar, making sure that we have full coverage everywhere. And I think we're good here. Fingers crossed. All right, let's put this in the soapy water. Let's get this back on there and covered. All right. All right. I'm gonna kind of try to reach in there with my reverse tweezers and pick this up, and hopefully, let's see. Oops. Right into the soapy water. And then let's grab this side. I'm hoping it works, you guys. I'm like I said, I'm just trying something new. Huh, did not work at all. Didn't work at all. All right. So that's the end of that, you guys. Did not work. So I think what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to put this on the side, because that did not do anything that I thought it was going to do. So we're just going to grab the card front. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a little blending. Oh, yeah. And that's how we're going to make this work. I think if that piece was not so this is what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to go tone on tone. So I'm going to, well, maybe, yeah, I'm going to grab my Sahara sand. And the blending brush. And that's all we are going to do to try to get a little bit of texture to that card. And then I promise you guys, I'm going to have to call Stampin' Up! Or somebody to try to figure out how that was done, because I can't seem to figure it out. Okay. And so all I'm going to do, and I don't think this is the right one. Okay, we'll go with it. And it'll be covered anyway, but I just want a little bit of something, and I have got to figure that out. Now it's driving me nuts. It is completely driving me nuts. And then just put it back in place to get to the other side. You can always use your dies as a mask, just as I'm doing here. And if you haven't done that, this is a new technique that I'm teaching you. Okay. So again, I just wanted to give a little bit of something different on here. I'm not 100% happy with the project because that's not what it was intended to do, but I'm going to figure that out, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you guys what was done. All right, so we have some sort of a element on our card. And so now I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some ribbon. And what I'm going to do now is kind of like measure it out a little bit before I do anything. All right. Like so, like so, like so, and back a little bit more. And then in order to get this done, I'm going to bring in my glue dots, and I had them somewhere on my desk, and now I don't. Okay. And with my glue dots, I'm just going to kind of place the ribbon on my card front in this similar to the same path that I did before when I was measuring it out. And so I kind of want it like this. So we want it here. Right. All right, you guys. Last time we did Case the Catty, I told you guys I was starting a host reward program. I hadn't thought out a lot of the details at the time. I have thought out some of the details, and if you've subscribed to my newsletter, you've seen me roll out what the program is, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about the host reward program. The host reward program, and I'm calling it hibiscus points. Hibiscus is the official flower of the United States Virgin Islands, which is where I'm from. And so my host rewards program, it's called Hibiscus Points. And so for every $35 you spend in my online store, you earn 1 hibiscus point. Okay. And with that hibiscus point, once you earn 12 hibiscus points, you are eligible to select a product I will give you a product value not to exceed $42 in Stampin' Up! Products. Okay. Now, how can you earn? Like I said, there's several ways you can. Well, all of the ways to earn the Stampin' Up! Or the hibiscus points is you can sign up for my online hostess program. You and with that host program, there is a $35 a month commitment. And again, for every $35, remember that you spend, you earn 1 hostess point, a hibiscus point, sorry. And so on the hibiscus rewards point, if you, the online club is a 6-month long commitment. So right off the bat, if you join a hostess club, an online club, you will automatically receive 6 hostess points or 6 hibiscus points for your term. The hibiscus points are good in a 12-month period. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And then, so we can set this guy aside for a little bit. So next I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp. We're going to end the Stamparatus here. You guys have never seen me use the Stamparatus, right? But I do use it. And I'm going to stamp it in Sahara Sand also. I'm going to stamp it in Sahara Sand, kind of keeping with the tone on tone. And the reason I'm using the Stamparatus is I just want to make sure that if I don't get a crisp enough image, it's large enough sometimes that you don't have, you don't apply enough ink, that it'll be in the same position so that if I needed to apply more ink again to get a crisper image, I could. I think I did okay on the image, so we don't need any more. And then now we're just going to get ready to color. Let me put a piece of cardstock back in here until I can clean my stamp. All right. So we're going to color really quickly. And I'm going to color, and then I'm going to speed this part up so that you don't have to watch me color. Okay, but the colors I'm going to use to color are Soft Sea Foam, Light and Dark, Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use Petal Pink, Calypso Coral as my colors. Okay, all right. Okay, and now I'm going to go in with crumb cake, light and dark. Calypso coral, dark. Petal pink, light and dark. I'm going to start first with the dark. and then with the light. Okay, and then we're going to go right back in with the petal pink, and we're just going to color our buds. Again, starting with the dark. And then with the light. Okay. All right, you guys, and that's how we colored our image. Now we need to die cut our image so that we can go ahead and mount our image on our card. Give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay. And now that we have this die cut, we can go ahead and we can place this element right back over our piece. And I'm going to position it in such a way that I can still see the outline that we blended before. Let's go grab some dimensionals here. Now I'm going extra heavy, although I'm a dimensional hog anyway, but I'm going extra heavy on this because the dimensional not only needs to stick our floral image down, but it also needs to secure the ribbon as well, okay? You can tell. Okay. And now we're going to carefully place our image over our ribbon that we created. But I definitely want to make sure that I can see the shadow of the flower beneath. And so there we go. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with the Wink of Stella in here because I need to make it pop a little bit. And I'm just going to go over a lot of these images just to add a little sparkle and shine to them. Yep. Here we go. All right, so the last thing we're going to need to do now is stamp the sentiment. And let's pull out the stamp set and see what we got. I'm going to go with thank you. One, because that's what they also have in the image. So I'm going to go with the thank you. And because we don't waste any sort of paper, we are just going to use that. Now, I need to condition this stamp a little bit. And remember, when we're conditioning, exactly. All right. And I'm going to stick with Sahara Sand for my thank you. Make sure I have good coverage here. Good. Perfect. And then last, we're going to trim our edges, our cardstock, so that we can have our image ready to go. All right. All righty. And so what we're going to do, we're going to put dimensionals on the bottom. Okay. And then I need to put a glue dot right here and about right there. Okay. So definitely on this side right here. And I think it was right above there. Not trying to be exact, but close enough. Okay. And now all we're going to do is we're going to attach our sentiment to our card, like so. Okay. Now, here we go. Not exactly 100%, but this is, we've cased number 1 of the catalog. Okay. Now for me, I've got to go add bling. And so I will show you how I blingify that. Oh, look at this. This is from the Genial Gems collection. And I'm just going to add some gems. And I'm going to observe the rule of 3. Oops. And here we go. Okay. Card number 1 successfully cased. And now we're going to move on to the second card. Oh, wait, I've got to put a piece of cardstock on the inside. And before I do that, I just want to stamp couple of the images of the individual flower. Okay, there's 2 sides to every block, okay? So I make do with both sides. And I'm going to stamp off because I don't want it to be so dark on the inside. So just want a hint of the image. Guys, you know what I did not do? I did not trim it down. But we're going to make it work, though. How? We always make things work around here. That's just how we do it. Right. Okay. And now card number 1 is completely finished. Ta-da! All right. Next, we're going to move on to the second card. And this one, we need our die cutting machine. Okay. And we're going to use that image that we used in the very beginning, or the die, I should say, not the image. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to do that off screen. So give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and get that done for you. I'll be right back. So what I did was I took the die and I first ran it through here. Now you'll see when I take it off on this side, I kind of didn't adjust far enough. I should have been further up. But then I also remember I cut this sheet down 1/8 of an inch smaller. And then once I ran it through that side, I turned it around and I ran it through on the other side. And so now I'm just gonna take a foam mat and brush the bits and pieces out. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm probably gonna have to use the pokey tool to get some of it out. Now, you don't need to get it all out. And I say that only because it's going to be covered with the florals. So really, you don't really need to get it all out, but we're going to take as much of it out as possible, especially on the outer edges. So you can see the laciness of the design and the detail work of the die. Now, for the most part, all of the pieces are coming out fairly easy. So it's not that the die left a lot of residue, although it did. It's just that they're not popping out as easy. Okay, and maybe I should have ran it through a couple more times just because it was so detailed. And again, I'm not really worried about the center of the die. Because it's primarily the outer edges that will show. Okay, I think we're gonna call it quits on the punching out in just a little bit, because we've got enough of it out. Okay. Perfect. And now we're gonna just adhere this. Now remember, this card is like so. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm going to add, oops, let me get rid of that. Some adhesive to the back, and then add that to our card front. I did not think about it and put some of our adhesive sheets on there, but you could definitely do your adhesive sheets. You could definitely do use your adhesive sheets to get this done. I left enough room that I knew that having the liquid glue would work. So that's kind of what I'm doing. They're big enough areas that I could add glue. And so that's kind of what I'm wanting to do. Here we go. Now remember, this is just 1/8 of an inch smaller. There we go. Now I'm going to show you the beauty of that other die that we talked about. Okay, Let me find it. Let me find it. I'm excited to share it with you. So remember this die, the one that I told you about that cuts it into pizzas? Well, here you go. When you use the die cut, here is what happens. You get pieces that look like this. And this was that one big floral image that we had before, just cut into those several pieces. This is here. This was here, I think, like so. Let's see. That's there, I think. Either way, that's how they came out. I think I might need a couple more. We'll see if we can work with just the one. If not, then we'll just have to get some more cranked out. Put that way. Put that way. I think I'm just going to work with what I have. And then we can go from there. I'm going to put this one this way. And this one has to be, doesn't have to be, but that's what I'm going to do. They can't all be popped up. Okay. Okay. This one we're going to put like so, going that way. We're going to have one. I want this one to be popped up. So we're going to have one this way. And then we're going to have one this way. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Have this one go like that. Remember, we're going to have this guy here. So that's what we're going to do. And have him come like that. Okay. And then last, we are going to put this guy. And the reason I'm putting them the way I am is because remember, we still have the sentiment that we have to stamp, and that's going to be on dimensionals. And we still want the card to be able to go through the mail, right? So I don't want the flowers to be covered up so much. So that's what we're going to do with that. Okay. And now we are going to stamp our sentiment on a piece of basic white. Sending many thanks. Let's go with that one. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stamp this guy first. I'm going to stamp the banner first. Okay. And I think the banner is in Old Olive. I think. If not, too bad. That's the color I'm going to use. And so I could stamp on emboss it on old olive cardstock and then heat emboss in white. I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to I may have pressed too hard, so I have to be very careful here. Okay. Okay. Now we need our sentiment. You guys, before I do that, let me show you a little trick. You're being lazy like I am and not wanting to and we just have that. Okay. And then I'm gonna grab the sentiment. Sending many thanks is what I'm gonna go with. Make sure I grab that carefully. Do a little bit of priming. And I'm going to use my Versamark ink. And make sure, if my head gets in the way, let me apologize now. And go ahead and stamp our sentiment. Okay. Bring out our white embossing powder. Hopefully we have a good image. Hopefully. Impression, I can't see it. Yeah, let's see. I'm not seeing the sending at all. Let's see. Let's hope we get something. Normally I would see the imprint of the letters, but I don't see it at all. So let's see. Yeah, not gonna work, y'all. Not gonna work. So let's try this again. Sometimes you try things, and that's what it's all about, is trying something new or trying something different, and then you know what works and what doesn't work, right? So I do want to keep with my thought. So I am going to okay. I'm gonna just stamp, and I'm gonna just go with black. I know, changing it up a little bit, but it's okay. Change is good for the soul, y'all. Change is good for the soul. Okay. Okay. We got our sentiment stamp. Let's put this away. I'm trying to be a neater crafter, y'all. Okay, so let me just give you guys a couple of reminders. Don't forget, we've got a couple of things coming up. November 5th is our bingo, first bingo event. You guys, I'm excited about bingo. With our bingo event, it's 2 make and takes. You get 1 card, you get to pick your 5 numbers. Each additional card is $5 if you wanted to play more than 1 card. And it is at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on November 5th. It is an invitation. It is when I say reservation, I just mean that you've purchased your entrance into the bingo night, and it will be via Zoom, of course. Let's make sure that'll work right there, and it will. Oh, we won't do that. I came too far off, so I won't be able to do that. So I'm just going to die cut it. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're just going to die cut it. And I'm trimming this just so it'll go through the mini cut and emboss machine. Which of course I did not bring out. So there we go on that. Let's see if this works any better. No. We're gonna do that and get this that cut out. Ooh, here's what I'm gonna do though. Ha ha ha. Looking me for some washi tape. Y'all, there's more than one way to skin a cat, okay? Let me just tell y'all that. If you did not know that, there is more than one way to skin a cat. So I kind of wanted the frame to be there as well. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm gonna kind of put this in place with some masking tape, kind of where I want it to be. All right. Put some tape. And the tape can't be, I'm gonna put some tape there. We're gonna put some tape here. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with one of our black markers, or even a Sharpie if you wanted a thicker line, but I don't. What all my marker is now. Of course, I didn't think about that ahead of time, so which is why I can't normally find my things when I'm looking for them. Okay, and then all we're gonna do is we're gonna trace. Boom. And all of this was improv, y'all. All of it was improv. Woohoo! Let's just die cut this out until we can get our card finished and put together. So sometimes I show you that you don't really have to have everything that's in the catalog. I mean, I have that need to have everything kind of deal, but you really don't. You can use the things that you have on hand to create your project. You know, I tried the white embossing powder. I didn't want to go cut this small of a piece of old olive, so I just used the blending brushes and old olive ink to give myself an old olive background. And then I wanted to have an inside frame, so I just created my own inside frame, and that's all it was to it. There's not there was nothing major about that. So you can use things that you already own to create and make something, and not say, oh, I can't make that because I don't have X, Y, and Z. Not true. All right, one last thing I'm going to do before I do that is I'm going to make a little bit of a bow, right, like so. And my bows these days are like so very simple. So I just wrap that around my fingers a couple of times. And I'm going to use my third hand, which is known as the reversible tweezers to kind of hold it in the middle. Make sure it's all clamped in the middle right there, like so. Right? And I'm just going to grab another little piece that I'm going to use to create my bow. And I'm just making a little bit of a loop, getting my loop started. Oops. And then I might need to just keep that on the thingamabobber there. Yeah, let me keep my third hand. And then use that to try to get this through that little bit of a loop. Right? Get that where you want it, kind of centered, and then just start drawing that closed. Okay. Kind of get it towards the center. And then draw your string really taut. Okay. And then do another square knot. There you have your bow. Okay. Bring those in front. Kind of spread your, trim this off. We don't need him hanging. We don't need him hanging around. Like so. Have a little bit of a glue dot. Kind of center this guy up. And that's all we're going to do is add him kind of like to the center. Like so. Right? I'm looking for my take your pick tool, which I put somewhere. Not necessary, I should say. Just put that right there. Now we want this to be kind of like on the top. So that's kind of where we're going to put that. Right? Make sure our loops are where we want them. Kind of fluff them out a little bit, above, below, wherever you want them. And then I'm going to add some dimensionals. I don't know where my dimensionals are. No, that really wasn't what I meant. Because I know where they are. They're in my hands. On that end. On that end. I'm going to put one here. Keep that down. I'm going to put one here. Right here. And that will be all she writes. Okay, and then last but not least, we are going to put our thanks right like so. Got our little string. Gonna go in with a couple of embellishments because I love embellishments. And there we have it, y'all. We have cased the mini catalog featuring the Fond of Autumn bundle. And here are the cards that we have created. Well, here are the cards we've created. Love it. All right, you guys. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And that we are hosting once we hit 100 subscribers, there will be an awesome drawing and a giveaway. I know the first 5 people, anybody that comments on this video between now and Sunday evening will be entered into a drawing to receive these 2 cards in the mail. So stay tuned for a video based upon comments about who is the winner of these 2 cards. Join us next week for an episode of Case the Catty. And don't forget, bingo is November 5th. And Finish It Friday is the last Friday of the month. It is a Zoom party-ish kind of thing. Grab your favorite beverage and come join us for Finish It Friday. You guys, thanks for joining me today. And y'all have a great day. Happy stamping.